Sage Thornton? I've heard of him too. They say one of his works was once sold for hundreds of thousands of gold bucks. I think it was called Hope. That's some serious money, Nathan said with an impressed expression on his face. Peter confidently added, throughout history, countless sculptures have been created. Among the most valuable, each of the top 10 sculptures is valued at millions of gold bucks. Out of those, Sage Thornton alone has 3 pieces, making him the greatest sculptor of all time. Linley gasped in astonishment. Millions of gold bucks? That was an astronomical sum. Even if his family sold their family home, they could probably only scrape together about 300,000 bucks at most. Let's go and see. Maybe we'll get to see something really amazing, Linley said eagerly. The Cynosure Society, a renowned cultural hub known for its grandeur and exclusivity, stood as a beacon of culture and refinement in the heart of the mainland. With branches in major cities across the continent, it covered a large area, attracting cultured individuals. At the society grounds, flaunting flashy jewelry was a surefire way to earn disdainful glances and silent judgment. True sophistication wasn't measured in gold and gems, it was defined by art and refinement, the very pillars of this esteemed circle. Tickets to the Cynosure Society building costed 1 gold coin per person. Calming music, like flowing streams, emanated from within, leaving listeners with a sense of tranquility. People entered the venue continuously, with aristocrats, noblewomen, and beautiful young women, all dressed in tasteful attire. In contrast, regular folks felt out of place when they came across this famous spot. The 4 boys, along with Curtis and 3 other knights, made their way to the square in front of the building. Any observant person, upon seeing the Oakfield Institute uniforms worn by the boys and the emerald-eyed hawk perched on Curtis's shoulder, couldn't help but show respect. "Uncle Curtis, come in with us. The other 3 can wait outside," Grant casually instructed. The 4 of them, along with Curtis, entered the gate. In the center of the great hall stood a tall human sculpture of Sage Thornton, the master sculptor and leading figure in the sculpting world. The famous center exuded a profound sense of tranquility. Everyone lowered their voices when speaking to avoid disturbing others. As the 4 boys viewed the displayed sculptures, they all felt that these works were absolutely breathtaking. The exhibition halls are mainly divided into 3 parts: the General Hall, the Expert Hall, and the Masterpiece Exhibition Hall. In the General Exhibition Hall, sculpture enthusiasts send their works to be displayed for appreciation and pricing, with an exhibition period of 1 month. After a month, the highest bidder takes home the piece. These works are relatively ordinary, with the most exceptional pieces valued at only a few dozen or $100, Grant explained with a smile. The Expert Exhibition Hall offers a unique experience. It's divided into independent exhibition rooms, each showcasing the works of a single master. To be called a master, one's sculpting prowess must be widely recognized, and their works typically sell for about $1,000. The Masters Exhibition Hall, located in the innermost part of the building, is truly remarkable. It features only a few masterpieces, each valued at tens of thousands of gold bucks, with some famous works reaching hundreds of thousands, Grant explained to the 3 brothers. Linley listened in awe. The works of the masters, each piece worth tens of thousands, indicated that for these master sculptors, money was no longer a concern. But these master sculptors seldom produce new works, Grant sighed, to protect their reputation. Creating a timeless piece requires skill, talent, and a moment of inspiration. These works in the General Exhibition Hall are merely pleasing to the eye. Let's move ahead. Dennis instantaneously reappeared once more from the dragon ring, admiring the stone carvings around him. This is utter nonsense. How could they display such low-quality work for everyone to see? Dennis said, dissatisfied. "Oh, come on now, old man. Didn't you hear? This is the General Hall. The Masters Exhibition Hall is up ahead. And even then, these aren't that bad. And besides, I think they're better than anything you could probably come up with," Linley said, with a little smirk on his face. Dennis was taken aback at his audacity and fell silent. "Nothing to say, old man?" Seeing Dennis still lost in thought, he chose not to disturb him further. He trailed behind Grant and the others as they made their way to the Expert Gallery. The Expert Gallery offered a distinct experience. The hall featured information about each expert and the locations of their independent exhibition rooms. Although Linley wasn't well versed in stone carving, he could clearly sense that the works of these experts had a unique quality that set them apart from the ordinary pieces outside. As he was absorbed in the various works, Dennis Carter's voice echoed in his mind. "Not bad. They're at a beginner's level." Dennis nodded in admiration. "But compared to Sage Thornton's works, there's still a big gap." Linley was speechless. "What? How can they compare to Sage Thornton?" Linley shook his head with a bitter smile. "Sage Thornton was the greatest stone carver of all time." Dennis frowned. His white beard bristled in dissatisfaction. "What's wrong with comparing them to the best? Don't they all want to reach that level someday?" The boys took their time exploring the grand halls, their curiosity leading them from one exhibit to the next. They marveled at ancient tapestries woven with shimmering threads, depicting legendary battles and forgotten eras. Intricate sculptures lined the corridors, each telling a silent story of the past. They paused at a towering bookshelf, filled with dusty tomes, flipping through pages of history and magic, their minds racing with newfound knowledge. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows through the arched windows, they finally decided it was time to return. With one last glance at the opulent surroundings, they stepped out into the cool evening air, making their way back to the Institute. As the four boys stepped out of the carriage in front of Oakfield Institute, Grant seemed a bit dissatisfied. "Linley, Peter, what's with you two? I suggested a night out in the city and you're acting like monks in training. You're both way too reserved." "I've been roaming those lively streets since I was a kid. We would have had a really good time, you know." "Yes, exactly," Nathan chimed in. Peter and Linley exchanged a glance and smiled awkwardly, feeling helpless. Suddenly, an angry and anxious voice rang out, "Hurry, open the gates. I need to get to the infirmary." The four turned to look and saw a young man with curly hair carrying another boy who was bleeding profusely. A young woman was beside them. The injured boy's face was pale, his left arm severed, exposing white bone, and his chest bore several claw marks. "Looks like another group injured from the woods. How many have we seen now? It hasn't even been a year since we came to Oakfield, but we've already seen quite a few seniors get hurt from their ventures in the woods," Grant remarked casually. "It's amazing. There are all kinds of dire creatures, some that fly, others that run, and more. Most of these creatures belong to the Institute's magic instructors, with only a few owned by the seniors. Even then, quite a few wild ones still roam the woods, so I'm not surprised that there are so many injuries," Peter commented. As the four boys approached the Institute gates, a familiar voice suddenly called out, "Linley!" Linley turned to look, a delighted expression appearing on his face.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.